everyone, it's Chris from my girlfriend's quilt shop, and I am so excited because we are doing a very special designer series box, a Halloween edition. I know so many of you out there love Halloween, and I have to tell you that one of the queens of Halloween out there is this gal right here. This is Melissa Mortenson of Polka Dot Chair.
Hello.
And I'm so excited that you came.
To be here too.
Thank you for making the trip from Kentucky,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Tell us where you're from out there.
I'm from Louisville, Kentucky.
Okay.
So,
oh, right in the heart.
yes, like a little suburb outside Louisville. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, you if you followed Melissa for a while, she's into the hats.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. We
You
went
wonder
to the
why,
Derby
right?
for years. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a fun excuse to get dressed up. People call it like
Exactly.
a grown-up prom.
Oh.
So it's like
I can see that.
Yeah.
No, it's so fun. I always look forward to seeing how you dress up each year for the Derby.
Oh,
so
yeah. We haven't gone for a couple
fun.
of years, but I'm hopefully next year. We'll get to
Good.
go. So.
Good deal. Good deal. So I've known Melissa for a few years, and I'm just so excited that she now is a designer for Riley Blake Designs. And she is more well known out there for the name that she started years ago, Polka Dot Chair. Tell us how you got that name.
You know, honestly, I wish I had picked a different name, but it stuck.
Mm-hmm.
I started my blog back in, I think, like 2007, 2008,
Yeah.
and I had a polka dot chair in my sewing room.
Oh,
And so my original idea was to take pictures of all the projects with the chair, which,
well, that,
I mean, it lasted a
makes
while, and then
sense,
we
right?
branched. And then I thought about rebranding over the years, but it just everybody
stuck.
knows we buy it.
Yeah,
So,
Polka Dot Chair. I know. She has an amazing blog, and she's always just filled with all kinds of ideas. So we were so thrilled when she agreed to do this exclusive box with us here at my girlfriend's quilt shop. And it's a collaboration with us and Riley Blake Designs. Many of you may be a part of our regular designer series that we started this year, where we've highlighted 4 different designers and had patterns and fabric and all the fun things that come straight to your doorstep so that you can enjoy sewing at home. Now, this box is a little bit different. We call it the Special Designer Series, and that's because it's not part of the regular designer series. We have a special Halloween edition box. So let's go ahead and take a look at what's inside. All right, so we call it the Fat Quarterly Friends box, and there's a reason for that, Melissa.
yes,
And that's because it's filled with...
back quarters.
Exactly. Who doesn't love fat quarters, right? So if we take a look at the box, you're going to see that we have, first of all, this amazing pattern.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness. I went nuts when I was taking a look and trying to decide which ones we wanted. It was so hard to decide. We finally landed on this one. Tell us a little bit of your inspiration here.
I'm a kid of the 80s. So
Yes.
I feel like my husband's like, those look like Pac-Man ghosts. So yeah.
I thought the same
So
thing.
it's kind of it's the Pac-Man board and Halloween.
A nod to
edition.
that.
Yes, kind of a nod to that. And I like to kind of find ways to save time when I'm piecing quilts like this. And so the striped pumpkins, you can make 2 of them at the same time.
Oh.
Because they're strip pieced and then you cut the strips.
Okay, so we're going to get into that today. So I'm super excited to learn how you did that.
And then just trying to find a way to incorporate lots of different prints of the fat quarter so that you get to play with a lot of different kind of
because we
fabric.
have 12 different fat quarters in here. I can't wait to take a closer look at them. Of course, we learn a little bit more about you right here, Melissa. Beautiful picture.
Thank you.
We've got a fun little gift in here for you as well. This is applique glue. Where do you like to use applique glue at?
So I don't like to hand bind my quilts. I know that's kind of controversial, but I have a little bit of arthritis, so it hurts my hands. So I will, and when I do my quilt bindings, I sew the binding to the back first and then bring it to the front. And then I'll use a little bit of the applique glue to kind of hold down a few of the portions of the binding as I run it through my sewing machine.
Yes, I can definitely see that. And one of the ways that when I'm doing that with binding, if I will put my iron straight to it right after, it just dries really quickly and holds on. And I love how it just kind of holds everything in place for you to get a really nice clean edge on your sewing. All right. And then Oh, this is where the real fun comes because we get to take a look at these darling fabrics that you created. So this is a brand new line. Tell us about this, Melissa.
So I love Halloween. You mentioned that before. I don't know why. I just really, I don't know. It's just always been one of my favorite holidays. So I did a Halloween line with Riley Blake a few years ago and just kind of didn't feel like I was finished yet. So started sketching more. I come up with like funny backstories.
Okay, I want to hear.
This one was kind of, the idea was like a witch's school. And so that's kind of where this print.
Take a look at that.
Yeah. So that is, like, I don't know if you watch like Rear Window or any of those kind of movies.
No.
Like I love in Rear Window, there's like a scene where they pan out and you get to see, they live in New York City and you get to see all these little like stories of the people that live in each apartment from the windows. And so I just kind of thought it would be fun to like tell a little story with the windows if you looked into the school. So
I'm going to have to look into that. I've never heard of that. But
yeah, it's an old Jimmy Stewart movie.
That's kind of fun. I like that.
So I just kind of started with there and then just thought what things would be in which school and started designing from there.
Oh my goodness. It's so cute. I think that print is absolutely adorable. And then, of course, you've got the little books, right?
Yes.
And so you've got to have all the spells and all the fun. Now, the thing about this, though, is this is fun Halloween, right? This is not creepy Halloween.
No, I like the fun. I like the fun stuff my kids would have liked when they were younger. And
I also like that you added pink.
Yeah, that one's new this time. Yeah, I think that I've had pink in all my lines except for the other Halloween line. So
yeah, I mean, you don't think of pink being a part of a Halloween line, but it works perfectly.
Yeah,
I love it.
Well, because it goes with the purple so well, which people associate so much with Halloween.
Absolutely. So. And of course, the ghosts are adorable. They are so cute. All right. Well, if you thought the fabric was cute, you just wait. Because look at the blocks we're going to be making today, guys. Oh, so much fun. And you're absolutely right. That is like paying homage to Pac-Man, right?
Yes.
I've got the little Pac-Man song in my head even.
I know.
Yeah. So, and then of course, tell us about that. What made you put those there?
The purple and stuff. I just like little things to be a little unexpected.
Exactly.
So,
yeah.
Purple leaves.
Halloween. And you know what? It kind of reminded me, not only purple leaves, but it kind of reminds me of a cat.
Oh, yeah. It's like the little ears of a cat.
The little ears of a cat.
Yeah, because I was like,
or even the little ears of a bat. So let's take a look at what you're going to find in one of the additional kits. And that is your binding and your
background fabric.
Background fabric, exactly. And I'm loving this background. Tell us a little bit more about that.
So this is this is my basic with Riley Blake. It's called Sparkler.
I love it.
And there's 40 colors that it comes in. And this is the charcoal, which I love. And it's got, if you can kind of see, if we hold it up to the light, it has sparkle gold.
Yeah, a little bit of metallic in there, right?
Just to kind of make it shine a little bit.
Which I think is perfect for this Halloween quilt because it's like a starry night. Is that what you had in mind?
Yeah, it's kind of what I had in mind. And I love Riley Blake's metallic ink, so I try and put them in as many of my fabrics as I can.
It's so cute.
And they are great. Like they hold up well when you iron and wash them and everything. Yeah. So I've really enjoyed working with them.
Okay, so if some of you are thinking, oh, I've got some background I can use, you want this. Let me tell you, that is so cute.
Well, and there's some negative space in the quilt too. So you want something with a little bit of interest to put in there.
Yeah, that's very, very true. So, okay, so this comes as part of the finishing kit. So you've got the background and you have your binding.
Yes.
Okay, and so look how cute this is. Tell us a little bit more about that fabric.
So this is just the, from Macbeth. It is the witch's lament. I don't know. In high school, we had to memorize a lot of stuff.
Can you do it right now?
I can. I was like, double, toil and trouble, cauldron burn and fire burn and cauldron bubble.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's weird the things you learn in 8th grade that stick in your brain.
That's right.
Yeah, so
that's what's on here. And then you have a kind of a different way of cutting this, right?
Yes. So I wanted this to look like a stripe when I did my binding. So I actually, you have to do more seams this way, but I don't think you notice it with the dark fabric.
Mm-hmm.
So I cut my binding 2.5-inch strips going this direction.
Ah, that's not what we're used to, right? No. We're used to going from selvage out, but we're going to do it the lengthwise.
Yes, and there's enough there. And so then when it kind of folds over, you can kind of see. Then you get
I love
a little stripe on the side.
What a great idea.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, I love that.
And you can cut it the other way for sure.
You could cut it the other way. You could also cut it on the bias too.
Yeah, bias. I thought about doing bias. That would be really
at
cute.
A diagonal. So lots of possibilities, right? And then a separate purchase, if you'd like, is, of course, this darling backing kit.
Yes.
Oh, my goodness. Like this, is this the main print in here?
This is the main print.
Okay.
Yeah. So these are all the little kids that go to the witch school. So,
oh, my goodness.
And they're little ghost mascots that live there. And,
I love it.
Goofy little Halloween things.
That is so fun. And what a great backing print to use where it's so big, right?
Yeah. And there's a center seam as you sew the two pieces together for the backing. And so it's one that's really easy to match up on the back too. Okay. So,
all right. So I love this as well. Super fun.
Well, thank you.
Oh my goodness. Now, do you hand draw all these?
I do.
That's amazing.
That's
really incredible. You are a gifted artist.
I started 10 years ago, and so I've gotten better. I've gotten braver because first I thought there's no way I can draw people, and then I just learned to draw people. So
good for you.
Thank you.
Good for you. I didn't realize that. That's amazing. All right. So super fun. Are you ready to get started?
Yes.
Let's do this.
Okay.
So the first one, which block do you want to choose first?
Let's do the pumpkin block first.
Okay. Pumpkin block first. Let's take a look at this. So as you can see, we have some strip piecing going on.
Yes.
Okay. And that's fun. I like that. And you have them already cut out. So let's go ahead and take it to the sewing machine.
Okay. Sounds good. Okay. So I've cut the strips according to the measurements in my pattern.
Okay.
And there is a cutting guide in the pattern so you know exactly which pieces to cut from which back quarter. So you know if you'll have enough fabric to finish your quilt.
Great.
And which ones to cut from each print.
Perfect.
So you've got 5 strips cut, and you are going to sew all 5 of them together. Like so. So what I did on my blocks is I had these matching, and then I had the pink in the center.
Okay.
If you want to mix it up, you can, just as long as you have the correct number and measurement of strips.
Sure. And I like the pink in the center because it just brings it all together.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It kind of gives it a little consistency.
Yeah.
So to do that, I'm just going to start on this side, get those lined up really well.
Okay.
Do you want to sew or?
Oh, no, you go ahead.
Oh, okay, I'll grab my reading glasses so I can see what I'm sewing.
Understandable there.
Yes. All right, so the first 2 pieces are sewn. And
do you like to press as you go, or do you press after?
I press after.
Okay.
And I usually will always press the seams open when I do like a long strip.
Okay.
Usually I'm always like a press to the side kind of person, but for this, I think it's a little bit better to press it open.
Good to know.
So then we'll move to the middle. Okay, so I've got them all sewn, and then I'm going to come over here and press the strips.
Okay. Do you have any special trick for opening your seams?
I like these little, I have this iron at home, which I really love because usually once I get it going, when I'm not on camera,
right? Yep.
The little point really does help to kind of get that going quickly. Yeah, I used to never press seams open. And then I was having a hard time with the block a little while ago and tried pressing the seam open and it made a huge difference. So
you did that pretty slick.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, that was great.
So yeah. So now it's pressed and ready to cut.
Nice. Okay.
Yes. And the measurement on the block, I gave you a 1/2 inch extra.
Oh, okay.
So that way, because you can see like that's not perfectly even on the end. So we'll just come in.
Kind of trim that off. And
just trim it off.
Make it nice and clean.
And then you should have a little bit of extra fabric at the end.
Nice. Okay, so now that we have our stripped pumpkin put together, it looks like it's time to add some corner blocks.
Yes. Before you do that, take a second on the pattern. It notes what size this should be.
Okay.
So just make sure that it's also the correct width. So if you have to trim like 1/8 inch off or something, then do that too, because a lot of that has to do with that seam pressing.
That's right. So, very true. Good point.
Okay. So so now we are going to do the stitch and flip method to add some corners to these blocks. The other thing is, this gives us an even number of pumpkin blocks, and we need an odd number for the quilt. So you will have one, if you want, you can make another pumpkin and make a pillow or something. So so you can save it for something. All right, so we're just going to take our background fabrics. So we've got 4 background fabrics, squares cut. We're going to just draw a diagonal line on the wrong side of the squares. All right, after you have those, then you can do all 4 of these at the same time. Just going to lay them on the block.
And if you're like me, sometimes if I get going fast, I'm like, okay, how is this going to end up going? So I'll do what's called auditioning, where I pretend I sewed that and I go, okay, yes, that's the direction I want that line to go.
Yeah, because if it was going this way, then you'd have a very
it'd
funny
be a
corner.
mess.
Yes, that's a really good tip. All right, and then we're just going to take it to the machine and sew, and just sew like 1 thread width on the inside of the line.
Okay, and the reason for that is because it helps bring it over, right?
Yeah, because you lose a little bit of the fabric when it folds, because there's a little bit of it stuck in that fold.
Exactly.
So then that just gives you a little bit extra.
Just a titch. Yeah, not much.
Keep your corner square.
Yes.
Yes.
Excellent.
Okay. So take this and sew
all right.
these corners, which I just dropped as I came over, but that's okay.
You could pin those if you wanted to.
Yeah, I would definitely.
Or just leave it in a pile too and just grab them. It is nice to have this big extension table, isn't it?
Yeah, you could honestly just get all your blocks all in a pile right here and just work on them.
Definitely.
You could really knock that out really quick.
Yeah. And what you can see here is that we've actually engaged the guide beam on this machine. Don't you love that?
Yes, this is really high. I definitely would love to have that.
And because then that way you're following that guide beam from corner to corner, but I moved the needle over to the right just a titch so that you still are focusing from corner to corner. You don't have to worry about the needle position.
Yeah, and it's nice because especially like this is a little bit longer of a piece too. So you can make sure as you sew the whole time you're lined up.
Definitely.
You can see on this one my line is off a little bit, so actually the guide's super helpful with that.
Good.
So I can get it right on that corner.
There you go. Okay, nice.
All right, so those are sewn. Now I like to press it before I cut it, just to kind of, I think it holds its shape a little bit better. Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, so I'm going to come over to the iron. Just
perfect.
All right, now we are ready to trim this.
Yay. All right, so when it comes to trimming, you like to cut the background out?
Well, so there's a couple different ways. So when I first started doing this method, I would notice that a lot of times when I would do it, that I felt like my background fabric wouldn't come all the way to the corner. Or sometimes, like, especially if you're like piecing a lot of pieces, I think you might get like a little sloppy, you know, as you go. And every once in a while you'll find a piece that maybe looks like that instead of all the way over.
Yes.
So what I will do if that happens is I will just cut out
the center.
And then this,
it kind of grounds it, right?
It grounds it.
Yeah.
And especially if it's like a small, maybe you're doing like a 1-inch stitch and flip, I think that extra little bit of fabric also, it gives it some like, it makes it a little beefier, so it doesn't stretch as much.
Maybe some stabilization there.
That's the word I'm looking for. Yeah, so it stabilizes the corner a little better.
I love that. So maybe you're reducing the bulk by getting rid of that center.
Yes.
Okay, but you're keeping the background in.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, this wouldn't work as well if I was using white fabric because there's possibility it would show through.
Yeah,
but since we've got the charcoal, then... so it's up to you how you want to do this. Sometimes if I have a lot of blocks, I'll take them to the couch and just use my scissors.
Oh, right.
Because I know it's not like a perfect 1/4-inch seam, but it's on the back.
Yeah, so, no one will see it. And that makes sense. And so let's make sure we show that.
So I'll do all 4 corners. I'll do each of the 4 corners a different way. And you can kind of choose they can choose at home which one they like the best.
Okay.
So
again, I just want to reiterate that you have that pulled to the back.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll just hold those with my fingers.
Perfect.
And then I like to use the big shears for this. And then you just kind of know where 1/4 inches. And you just trim that out.
Oh, I love that. Okay.
And then when you put it up, it's because I know this is square right there.
Exactly.
Now, if you want to take all of that off with the scissors, then just leave that like that. Leave both the pieces. And like I said, I like to do that because I can sit on the couch when I do that part. Or the other way is
multitasking at its finest, right?
Yeah. You just need a break sometimes. The other way is on your quilt ruler, find the 1/4-inch mark.
Okay.
And then line up the 1/4 inch with the stitching line. Perfect. And then use your rotary cutter.
Yes.
I
love that.
All different ways. Just depends on which works best for you. I think if you're new, sometimes it's hard to get the stitch and flip, like that corner square. So.
Perfect.
All right. So.
Okay.
So we're good. So
I'm liking it. Okay. All right. So then what do we have next?
All right. So we're going to put this aside and we're going to work on the top of the pumpkin.
Okay. Perfect.
The next thing you're going to do for the quilt is you are going to make 2 half square triangles that are going to be the little pumpkin leaves here.
Okay.
And you're going to make both of them at the same time. So we have 2 pieces of fabric. You've got the kind of purpley and then your background fabric. And then on one of the 2 pieces, draw a diagonal line.
And then your goal here is to sew a 1/4 inch on both sides of that, right?
Yeah. And these are cut a little bit bigger than you need so that we can trim it down. And
I love that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm a big fan of making it just a little bit bigger and then trimming down. Yeah.
You can always take it off. Can't put it back on.
Exactly.
Yeah. So we'll take this machine and I'll sew those 2.
Okay. And this is like the perfect thing to be able to do a lot of chain piecing, right?
Yes.
If it were, obviously we're doing one block right now, but if you were doing the entire quilt, you would just be, you know, stitching these out.
Yeah, and it's so nice. You can knock them out really quickly.
Definitely.
Doing it this way. All right,
Okay.
so now we just come over to the cutting mat.
Okay.
And just cut on that line. Open
Perfect.
it up, and you've got 2 half square triangles.
It's coming together.
Yep, so we're gonna press these. I usually always press them towards the background fabric or the darker fabric, but it doesn't really matter for this step. So.
Yeah, they're both pretty dark, right?
Yeah,
okay.
And it doesn't have to line up with anything, so.
Good point. Okay.
All right.
And then it's time to square these babies up.
Yes, because these are not the right size, and the sides are a little wonky.
Okay.
So we're going to want to fix that.
We love squaring up. It's like just a little haircut.
I know. It's
a little trim.
Very cathartic. So to do that, what I usually do is I usually just will come in and take a tiny bit off 2 sides first, just so I know I have a square corner. And then I know those are square. And then at that point, I can come in on my ruler.
Okay. Oh, they look so good, Melissa.
Yes, do a bunch of those and you'll feel better about your life. So
that's right.
So then the last thing is it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, you're just going to take those additional pieces for that top and just sew them together.
Yep, just sew them together. Just the only thing you want to make sure is that your little triangles are facing the right way.
There you go.
So just sew those together. And then you're just going to take that piece and sew it to the top. And you're done with your pumpkin.
Oh my goodness, that's so cute. And I love the fact that you said we get one additional one.
Yes, you do.
Because then we can just do something else fun with it.
Yeah, you could add a little extra fabric and make a little pillow or something.
Perfect.
So, yeah.
Oh my goodness, so cute. Okay, everyone, that's how you do the pumpkin block. Are you ready to do the ghost block? Pac-Man.
Yes, here he comes.
There we go. Okay, let's do it. Okay, Melissa, so I am in absolute love with this little guy. He's so cute. And what's interesting to me is that at the bottom, it looks like you've made him up of both flying geese blocks and half square triangles.
Yes.
Is that right?
It is. You could do this all with half square triangles, but if you use flying geese, then it eliminates a seam. So it just gives a little less bulk in the block.
Okay. I love it. All right. So the first thing we're going to do is make our flying geese.
Yes. Okay. And these are small pieces. So if you're new to this, just be patient with yourself because it is sometimes a little difficult with the smaller pieces. If you have some starch, sometimes I think starch will help a little bit.
Good idea.
When their pieces are smaller. The other thing is the words are right side up and upside down. Like my words here are upside down, my words here are right side up. So if it bothers you,
can't tell though.
I don't think you can tell. I think it's busy enough, but if you just absolutely want to make sure, then just know that it's technically an upside down flying geese.
Okay.
As you're going. So.
Okay. And I see that you even have a print sideways as well.
Yeah.
So let go of perfection. Is that what you're telling us?
Yeah, it's a Halloween quilt.
Okay.
So, I mean,
there you go.
Like if anything can be a little different at Halloween, you can get away with it. Yes. But if it bothers you that this one is sideways, that's just kind of what happens when you make 2 half square triangles with the method we use because it rotates. It's a small piece of fabric. You should have enough just to make another one if it's something that you want to do.
Okay.
All right. So flying geese are made with a rectangle and 2 squares.
Okay.
And we start out using the same method as before with marking a diagonal line. So this is similar to the stitch and flip method, but you have to do these one at a time because they overlap.
Yes.
So we're just going to place the square on top of the rectangle.
Do you want it to go that way?
Yes, because it's
oh, it's upside down.
it's upside down.
That's what I had to
I know.
keep remembering.
Well, that's why
it's
this
upside
one's
down.
That's why this one's upside down and that one's right side up. Because it's the same thing. I thought I had it the right way, and then anyway.
Okay.
So, but yeah, it's such a tiny text print. I don't think you'll notice in the end.
Right.
But yeah.
Okay.
All right. So we're going to do the same thing and sew on this line.
So this next step is really important when it comes to doing flying geese units. And for those of you who may be new to doing this kind of a block, you may be wondering, what did Melissa mean when she said you got to do them one at a time because there's an overlap? Tell us about that.
Yeah, so we're going to trim the excess seam allowance off and then fold this piece up and then sew a second square on. But the square is going to overlap this little piece right here.
Okay.
So you have to make sure this is where you want it before you sew the next piece.
Okay.
And usually I will come in and kind of finger press it first, then trim it, and then I'll take it to my iron and get it as precise as I can.
Okay.
So,
love it.
And for this one, I do use the 1/4 inch mark on my ruler and then I'm going to take this piece with me over to the machine. I'm going to press this and then sew the second one on.
Perfect.
All right, so there is the piece pressed. And then we're going to take the next piece on top and it's going to come to a point. So just make sure your seam is going the right direction and get that lined up.
We're seeing that overlap there. Yeah, yes. I like that.
So now, as this gets pressed back up.
Oh, I love it.
And
then the reason why you have that overlap is because you got to have a 1/4 inch seam there, right?
Yeah, because we're going to sew a piece of border fabric on there, and we want that 1/4 inch seam so that that point stays pointy.
I love that.
Yeah. Another thing too, especially if you're new, double check before you go to your next step that it's the size it's supposed to be. Because sometimes when you do this, it's a little easy to get off square or end up with a piece a little bit larger than it needs to be.
Okay.
So there you have your little flying geese.
Okay, so, we're going to make a couple of those.
Yep, so you're going to make 2 of those. And then we're going to make a half square triangle to go on the other side.
Nice. So this is all put together. Love it. And it looks like the rest of the block goes together pretty easy, right?
You're just going to just sew them together. This is the top. We did the little stitch and flip. And then you're just going to lay out your pieces.
Got to have our little eyeballs.
And the piece in the center of the eyes.
So cute. And then we're adding more background.
Yep. And then just enough to trim it out so that it's the same size as the pumpkin block so that everything goes together in a grid.
Perfect.
So that's all there is to it.
I love
just
it.
That together to get the little ghost at the end.
Oh, he's adorable.
Oh, thank you.
He's so cute.
He needs a name, I guess, probably.
Yes, we should have a name for him. All right. Absolutely adorable Halloween.
Oh,
right?
Thank you so much.
It's not weird Halloween.
Yeah,
it's fun. It's cute and fun, and that's what we all love, don't we? So, what a wonderful quilt you've designed for us. Thank you.
Oh, thank you for having me. I really enjoyed it.
Much. This has been a lot of fun. If you are interested in purchasing our Fat Quarterly box that we offer, it is a special designer series that we've done exclusively with Riley Blake Designers, and you can only find it at mygirlfriendsquiltshop.com. So there you're going to find the box, but there you'll also be able to find your background, your binding, your backing kits, if you're interested in those. And we hope you learned something new today. We hope you're inspired. And again, if you would like to follow this gal right here, she's amazing. Tell us how to find you.
So you can find me on Instagram. I'm at Polka Dot Chair, and then my blog is www.polkadotchair.com, and YouTube Polka Dot Chair. So it's just pretty much all.
I love it.
Polka Dot Chair.
That's great. Thank you so much, Melissa, for being with us.
I really appreciate it.
It's been great. Thank you. Have fun sewing, everyone. Bye-bye.